Welcome in my office. So today, I have one of my viewers that watched that two basic knot videos I did, and apart from being in the way most of the shot, he said that he really enjoyed it, and he would like to learn a few more knots. So I figured I'd make you a quick video about a few other knots that are fun, and we're going to go back to the knots that I've shown you, because this time around you won't have my ass in the way. So let's cut ourselves a little piece of rope. So what's fun about this rope, this is not this is basic marine rope. What's fun about it is it's big. So like you see, it's like if I try to show you a knot with some tiny rope like that, and you try to figure out, you know, like where the hell are you doing your knots, and so on and blah blah blah, you can't see shit. So this is much bigger, it's more expressive. So let's start with our first and basic knot, which was the square knot. So the square knot, remember, it's like when you do a normal knot like this and you're going around something, usually your reflex would be to do the exact same thing around. But instead what you do is you go the other way, which you go underneath this time. Alright? And when you're going to put that together, look how beautiful this is. And as you tight these together, they tight real tight. But they're so easy to untie because you just pull them back together like this and no more knot. So that's the basic square knot. So again, you go under, and then you go not under, but you go under the other way around. Okay, so you saw that? I went like this once. Then when I come around like that, what I want to do this time is bring this rope on top of that one and bring it under. And square knot. Alright. Another knot that I've shown you, which was the Taut knot. So that's when you're going around a tree. So this is our tree for the exercise, this mighty stump. So example, you want to go around a tree, and you want this rope to be able to go, you know, to shorten itself. Whoops, our tree is wobbly. So you want it to be able to shorten or to extend. And the way you would do that would be with this loop that you're going to go. So well, let's go the other way around. That's how I'm used to doing it. Jeez, I have to pass the bath. So you go in a loop, you go in a loop again. So see, you got a perfect little thing like that. Then what you're going to do is you pass the rope underneath this one to make a D, and then you bring this one here like that. And as you tighten that, see that other rope underneath? It's still able to go, but it's just tight enough. It's just tight enough that you can move it, or you can bring it back. And if this thing was not wobbly, what you see is that the V that it's created when you're pulling on it, it's never going to detach itself. But as you want to extend the rope, you're just going to bring that loop down, pull your rope from behind the tree, and recreate that little V that you had, and that's going to stay there. So this is really a useful knot, especially for tying a tarp or stuff like that. Now another one that I've showed you the other day was the Canadian jam knot, but I showed you that with a small tiny weeny little rope. This time around we'll show you a big rope. And the reason of the Canadian jam knot is, example, that you want to go around a tree, but you want to stay there. You don't want that rope to ever detach itself from there, and that part of the rope, you're going somewhere else with it. So the Canadian jam knot, what happens is you're making one knot at the end of the rope. Okay, so you're just making a knot and that knot here acts as a stopper. Okay, so then after that, what you're going to do is you're going to redo a little bit further another knot like this, but you're not going to close that knot. Okay, and what you're going to do is you're going to go around your tree, and then you're going to put that rope in that loop. Okay, and as you're pulling on that rope on that tree, and we're going down blah 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 like this, see what's going to happen. So as we're oops I didn't tie that little knot enough. So as we're tying and we're pulling and we're pulling, what happens is that knot that is there is acting as a jam. So this rope is never going anywhere because of that little knot that's there to create that's why they call it the Canadian jam knot. Now with some ropes, that knot won't be able, might be wanting to detach itself, and a trick for that, so this is an improved Canadian jam knot, which is a premier here, and the reason for that is just that little knot like that could, you know, with the time roll itself and come off the knot, but it's very undoubted. But if you're like me, the suspicious type, and you don't like things to undo themselves, what you can do is as you're doing your knot like this, okay, this is your knot, then what you can do is bring this one underneath like that. See, you re-brought the loop in, and it's like a double knot that you're creating, and you really make your thing there, and that's never ever gonna go, because it's physically impossible for it, because the string like that is not ever going to exert any effort to come back in, because of the way the loop is like this. It's just stopping there, and it's just going to tighten itself even more tight. So this is my version of most probably somebody came out and there's a name for that, but it's the Canadian jam knot, but I call it the Canadian super jam knot. So what you do is you do your first knot like this, you bring it in, and then you bring it back out a second time, and as you're pulling on it like that, and what happens with that, it makes a much bigger, I find, bigger loop, a bigger stopper if you want. So when you do your second knot, or knot, yeah, and then we go around our tree into the loop, and we start tightening this baby up. Now see, this loop is much bigger, and I'm not using the right kind of rope for this, because like I said, this is marine rope, and it's very fluffy rope. But see, as we're tightening this, it's impossible. This is way too big, so this would just hold there forever, you know. And as you pull more pressure on that rope, that's just going to get even tighter. So that's the Canadian jam knot. Now another knot, one of the most simple knots to make. Let's untie our super Canadian jam knot for a second there. Shit, I hope I can. That's what's fun about this rope, is that it's very forgiving. So it's so fluffy that you can most of the time, regardless of how tight you put it, you can untie it. Alrighty. Now another knot that is useful is, example, you want to put a you have something with a hole at the end, like an axe or something, and you want to make a loop, just a loop that you can grab onto. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your whole rope, and you would enter it into that hole that you want to loop in, you know, and then you would end up with a big circle of a rope, but at the other end it's not tied. And the only thing you want to do a very simple knot is you take these two and you make like a normal knot that you would do, and you just bring them like that. Boop. I think they call that the 8 knot or something like that. And this is, as you're going to pull like that, it's just going to get tighter. And that's a very popular knot for people, example, that are doing little the example, you want to put a little rope on your zipper to extend it to make it easier with mittens to open. You just take a paracord, you enter it into I'll just show you that right away. I'll move the tree out of the way. Let's get some paracord. Where is my paracord? Oh, I gotta show you something too. Here, we got some cheap ass paracord here. By the way, just a sidetrack here. Remember these feeble? I still have them somewhere. Yes. So these are the pegs that came with my tent. Remember my poncho, my Polish Lavvu. These are made of aluminum. They're cheap. And last time we went camping with the Lavvu, as I was entering these into the ground, they just started to warp. Now look at this thing. I bought this the other day on Amazon. It's made out of forged steel. And it's basically a huge nail. See it? It's like a big nail. And at the end here, they welded a hook on it. So the intent of that is you're going to drive that into the ground, and then you're going to have your rope like this to, well, example, it would be in the ground like this, and then you would have your rope like that, you know, and it would never ever get out of there. But the advantage of that over this feeble aluminum stuff is this stuff is forged steel, so it's just going to break a rock if you meet it, and this is just going to bend. So if I start pile driving that into the ground and I meet a rock, I'm sorry for that rock, but nail is going to win. Alright, back to our little project. So example, I have some zippers here. Now I already have these things on them. See, that's exactly what they did. So it's not a good example, but see, they terminated that knot, but I can most probably remove those, because it's most probably, it's been there for years though. There we go. See, that was easy. So what they did is they did a double loop into the zipper. See? So they simply went underneath the zipper here, and then they passed one rope on this side like that, and then they passed the other rope on this side like that. We don't have to be that elaborate. And what you want to do then is measure that you have both like that, and then we do the exact same little knots I was shown before. So you take both ropes and you make a knot with them. You turn them over, and then you bring them back into the loop. And with my big fucking fingers, that's such a fun chore. So see the little loops is here, and then you want to pull on the strings to make it even, right? And then you bring that real tight. What you do is you pull slowly on it, and then you push it with your thumb like that. And then if that would be real paracord, which in this case that's not the case, then what you could do is take a lighter and burn it a bit, and then push with the lighter. Because a paracord, in the middle of a paracord, there's these little strings. There's like 7 of them, and these burn really easily. And when all this here burns also, it fuses all together, and it just stops the rope from ever moving from one another. So that was the Super 8 rope, the Super 8 knot or something like that. I don't know. I don't even know the name of it. So very easy. We go above, in, out, and voila. So that's how you end the rope, and that's it. So that's enough ropes for today. Enough knots for today. I'll show you much more knots another day, but I just wanted to make a quick video because my intent today was to go in the bush, because yesterday was Saturday and I couldn't free myself, and I wanted to go in the bush today, but the problem is I got my truck stole by Miss Adventure Canada, because there's about 15 centimeters of snow falling outside right now. So she's gone Christmas shopping with some friends, and she wanted to be safe on her way back. So, being the great husband that I am, I said take the truck. But if that happens, then I can't go in the bush because our secondary vehicle cannot go where I want to park. I would just get stuck there and swear and so on. So I'm going to have to skip going into the bush this weekend, which breaks my heart because I wanted to go start working on that bed before there's too much snow, but it doesn't matter now that we have that tarp. No snow's getting into. So that's my mighty tree. It's a log I found in my pile of wood. So that's about it. So a quick knot video, and this time around you didn't see my microphone. Do you know why? Look, 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 look. Look, 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 look. It is here. So no more microphone into the shot. That was really noob of me, but anyways, I'm learning. So thank you for watching. Please like, please share, please subscribe, and by the way, I'm doing this video because one of my subscribers reached out to me this week and told me he liked it, and I really like that when subscribers do that. And if you have ideas about things you would like to see, things you would like to learn about, just shoot it. And if I know about it, well, it'll be my pleasure to hand down that that knowledge to you guys. All right. So keep it real. Have a good day. Bye. You still there? Go away.